Alright, welcome to part 2 of fractions. So this is our next bit of learning. So you've shown me some awesomeness in multiples and factors. So now you are moving on to fractions. Now this is hopefully just a quick recap for most of you because you do fractions down below, and obviously the people that I had last year, we've done a little bit. The one most important thing that you have to understand, okay, that a fraction is a part of a whole. Okay, that is what defines a fraction. It is one part or two parts or three parts of a certain whole. Now the important thing to remember is here, they must be equal. Okay, you can't have a bit of cake, a lovely little bit of square cake, and for example you can't have a piece that big and a piece that big. Okay, they have to be equal parts, equal pieces. So they're all the same. That is what fractions are. They are equal pieces of a whole. Now what some people have an issue with is understanding that the whole can actually change. So for example today, I might want to chop up my pizza into 8 pieces. But tomorrow, I may only want to chop it up into 4 pieces. Okay? But it's still a fraction, and it's still a part of a whole. Okay, so you've got to understand that it moves. So, very most important thing to remember is a fraction is a part of a whole piece. And they must be equal when you're creating them. Alright? Now, what we're focusing on in the first part of the lessons in fractions are just identifying fractions and looking at basically the greater than or less than. Okay. Now, these up here are all fractions that I've written. Okay. That's 1/2, 2/6, and 3/8. Okay. Now, the most important thing to remember is that we have a numerator and a denominator. Now, the way that I remember is the fact that this number here is down on the bottom, so that's the down one. Okay. The D for denominator is down. That's how I remember it, okay? Totally up to you how you remember it, but the numerator is on top because it goes in the bottom numbers. So numer is like number. How many pieces, so how many numbers of the whole are there, okay? Now I'm guessing there's some kind of special linguistic for denominator, but I haven't bothered to check it up, okay? But so I just have the D for down, and number, the numerator, is basically how many pieces there are in the whole, okay? So, in my whole, I've created 2 pieces, okay? And I'm going to give you one of those pieces, all right? And this is what it would look like. Because I've got my whole, I've split it into 2 equal pieces, and I've given you one of those pieces. So that is what it looks like. For example, another one, 2/6. So I'm going to give you 2 pieces out of a whole that is chopped into 6 equal pieces. That is what it looks like. Okay, I've chopped it into 6 equal pieces as best I could. It's not too bad. And I've given you 2 of those pieces. That is what that looks like. 3/8. I'm going to give you 3 pieces out of the whole that I chopped up into 8 pieces. Okay, so I've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces, and I'm going to give you 3 of those. Alright? So that's one of the aspects that we're looking at working on for you, actually shading those, as well as understanding what they are. So here, this whole is broken up into 2 pieces. This whole here is broken up into 6 pieces. And this whole here is broken up into 8 pieces. Okay, so it's the same whole, but different pieces. So once again, remember that the whole can change. Alright? Now, I'm guessing that you've seen these before. Some of you may have forgotten how to use them. Alright? So remember, treat this as a lovely little alligator. It's got big sharp teeth. Okay? It wants to eat. It is hungry. Now, are you going to feed the hungry alligator the big number or the small number? If you feed it the small number, there's a fair chance it may eat you. Okay, so you need to feed it the biggest thing possible. Okay, So what you'll have on some of your worksheets is you'll have something like this. So for example, this is half and this is 2/6. You've got to put one of these two down to show which piece is bigger, so you're going to feed the hungry crocodile. Okay? Now I'm having a look at this, so we've got that bit there, that bit there. So when you have actually a look at it, you think, alright, so that piece is bigger, because if I drew this piece 100% correctly, I might sort of do that 100% correctly, it would look like this. Okay? And you see how that looks exactly like that, but I'm missing a piece here, so this piece has to be bigger. Okay? So we want to feed it to the alligator, so we make sure that the mouth is ready to eat it. So if I was to say half or 2/6, which one's bigger? I will draw my alligator. It's about to eat my half, because you want to feed it the biggest piece. Okay? For example, if I was looking at this one, 2/6 and 3/8. So this is a slightly harder, okay, because we have to figure out, because you go, oh, okay, oh, geez, I don't really know, oh, that's going to be a bit tough, but, okay, but you think to yourself, like, you've got, because you go, oh, geez, they've got 3 pieces, and they've only got 2. But, I mean, that's chopped up smaller pieces, and that's chopped up into bigger pieces, okay? So that's a bit of a tough one to get, and as I said, you need to have some other understanding on that. But as I said, you're going to go, okay, I think, yeah, they look bigger pieces to me, so I'm going to choose that one, okay? And then you're going to go, all right, so the alligator needs to eat this piece compared to that one, so put it there, and the alligator starts eating, okay? Now, as I said, look, I will teach you how to work that out in a later video, but at the moment you don't need to know how to use that, because most of the ones that you do will be very simple to complete, okay? So it's that. Now, for example, if they're the same, we put down the equals sign. So, for example, we've got half here, and we'll go like this. So we'll create this into 8s. They're nice and easy. And for example, I'll draw that as 4/8. And I want to see what's bigger, 4/8 or 1/2. If you have a look at it, it's exactly the same, because if you cut out these pieces here, that is that 1/2 there. Okay? So if it's the same, you just put the equal sign. Okay? Because 1/2 is the same as 4/8. Okay? So that is our learning in terms of at the start of our fractions, where you've got to identify the parts of the whole, the numerator, the denominator. You've got to understand the greater than, less than, and you've got to be able to shade in 1/2 or 2/6 or 3/8. Okay. So once again, obviously instructions will follow on how to do that on our worksheets. But that is the start of our fractions in terms of understanding what fractions are. Remembering it is equal pieces or parts of a whole. Understanding that the whole can change. So hopefully you have a good start to that this week.